Hi, I'm going to give you a nice little tour of my backyard garden. It's the biggest garden we've ever done, and there's a lot of weeds, but it looks so cool that I thought, weeds and all, I'm going to show it to you. So here's my mint patch, and then some weeds, but if we go over here to our boxes where we have some flowers and some strawberries, it's the first year I've been able to get strawberries to grow. But the kids actually planted these, so maybe that's it. They got the strawberry thumb. We got some purple cornflower, and this actually I didn't do anything with this year. Those right here are Swiss chard that reseeded itself from last year, and this is an onion patch that's been taken over from weeds, but I didn't plant these onions, they just came back this year. I've got some chives hidden back there with the dandelion greens in the corner there. And then there's some horseradish, which, oh, I missed the flower. I wish I could have shown you when the flower was big. The flower is really pretty. That's what this part is right there. There's my almond tree. We didn't get any almonds again this year. It's a 7-year-old tree, and we had 2 almonds last year. And it's supposed to be self-pollinating, but I don't know. I may have to plant another one because we just haven't seen anything from it yet. Here's I guess I'm calling this my collard garden, or collard jungle, because it's mostly collards. There's some butternut and spaghetti squash out here in front, and then some potatoes back here in the back. And our pear tree, they're not quite ripe yet, but last year they were really, really sweet, so we're hoping for another sweet pear year. We actually had 5 fruit trees die over the winter. It was just really, really cold, and so 5 of them died, and then we had another pear tree that tipped over. But that being said, when I span over, you'll see that we were still blessed with a lot. The cherries didn't get anything. They're back there. We'll walk over there in a second. But here's our fire pit garden, I guess. And I've got a couple of some collards planted back here in the weed area. I got a trim here. And then these peach trees we planted last year, and they do have some peaches on there. You can see them down here. Let's see if you can see them. There's one right there. They should be ready in a couple weeks. Not quite yet. And then a lot of these are cucumbers, and the weather has just not, maybe it's been too hot, but we haven't seen any cucumbers yet, just flowers. Maybe as it cools down, we'll get a patch of cucumbers to start fruiting. Let's see, what else should this is a grafting experiment gone bad. The rootstock's still good, so I may try again next year, early in the spring, to graft some of the pear right there. Yeah, and the trees that died, their rootstocks live. So where these onions are popping out, I planted onions all around them to kind of protect. The onions act as a critter deterrent, and so the root itself of these trees that died, the rootstock all lived, and that's rootstock too that's grown up this year. Let's see, Swiss chard. I didn't plant that Swiss chard behind those onions. That came up by itself. So you can see the amaranth and the calendula with the little yellow flowers. They really go good together. I might plant those in the front yard next year, just because of how pretty they are. So my kids play back here, and it's been kind of fun to watch them run through the plants and play their sword games and things. Some of these around, so I did like a ring around our fire pit of squash and brassicas, and we just put a sprinkler in the middle. We don't have a sprinkler system in the backyard. But it seemed to work all right. I mean, you can tell it worked all right. They all are getting watered. Some of the front ones, like right here, maybe didn't get as much water as they needed. But note for next year, don't plant your zucchinis in with your pumpkins and your other kinds of squash, because the problem I'm having is I have to climb through this jungle because there's a zucchini squash plant like right here, and it makes a lot of zucchini, but I have to climb through everything else. I don't know, maybe if someone sees this, you can tell me what you think of this right here. I think this is patty pan. I have a couple other patty pan squash plants, but these got so round that I'm not sure. I just kind of planted, so about 4 years ago I bought one of those survival seed packs that had like 150 different types of seeds, and every year I've just been planting things, but you know how seeds get mixed up, and so some of these I don't know exactly what they are, but I do know that a lot of the plants over here are pumpkin and like butternut squash and something called blue Hubbard squash, which I've never eaten before, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see if I can find one. I think this one's a pumpkin right here. I don't know if you can see that. And let's see, blue Hubbard. I picked something that looked like a zucchini, but it was round, and so I don't know if that might have been one of the blue Hubbards. Maybe here. Ah, yes, here's one. It's on like a zucchini type. See it down there? It's on like a zucchini type plant, so I'm guessing it's squash and not a pumpkin. I've got some acorns. I got some amaranth that I didn't plant. I think flew around. Last year I had some, and so that's been popping up in different places. Oh, I wish I would have just planted tons of this, although this is more than we need anyway, but this is like a giant Swiss chard, and the kids just, I mean, we put it in everything. We've probably had it in a meal a day since the summer started. Collards, I'm having a hard time we've been juicing the collards and kind of putting them with apple juice, but it's a little harder to get the kids to eat that. Down here, this is spaghetti squash. Got a few of them hidden down there. They're not quite ripe. Let's see what else I can show you. Tomatoes did not work this year. I have 2 tomato plants, and they're healthy looking, right? But no flowers and no tomatoes. Oh, well, there's one little flower. That's probably the first flower I've seen all summer. Got some basil hidden in here that I'll probably pick. And let's see, this is acorn squash. Got a little bit of a squash bug problem in that plant. The cabbages here, I didn't think they were going to work, but I've got 4 throughout this circle. I've got 4 pretty big cabbages. Like there's one, you can kind of see it there, and then 2. Oh, let's see that one right there. Here's the blueberry bushes. They've been here for 2 years, and I don't know if it's just too hot of a spot here by the greenhouse, but no blueberries. Excuse me, I have a little cold. But you know, being out in the garden. Here's some wild basil that just popped up right there, and this is the watermelon patch, which for most of the summer it just had lots of flowers. It didn't look like there were any fruiting flowers, but now there's like, well, and it's not just watermelon. There's, you know, the one watermelon right here, but there's some bigger kind of melony looking things, again from that seed pack that I got that I don't know what exactly. I just knew it was a melon. And then some, oh, there's my pride and joy, my 9-foot, 10-foot sunflower. Came up by itself. I didn't plant that, but I just let it continue. Over here, this is a cherry tree. I planted that because we could never get this cherry tree to get cherries. It's a 9-year tree, and this one came in last year. But we've got a few aphids in that, and I think that's why it hasn't fruited. Next year I'm gonna trim it back a bit and maybe do something, paint the stem, I don't know, but to try to deter the bugs from climbing up there. A couple sunflowers, have a bird's, this is our bird nest tree. There's like 6 bird nests hidden throughout there, and we actually were able to see in this front house, and then deep in there, I don't know if you can, oh, my phone had a little glitch, so I'm back. Back to here. So this big squash pile, there are a few collards right in the middle. And see, then here's an apple tree. Costco, I got 2 apple trees last year and neither one of them lived. But this rootstock is growing in. You can kind of see that here on the side. So again, maybe another grafting experiment, or I'll just pull it out and put another tree there. Let's see, an amaranth again over there. Over there on the back side of the greenhouse, you can see right here, these are golden raspberries, and they've been there for 3 years, and this is the first year we've gotten any, and we've gotten enough for the kids to have 2 or 3 every day for about, I don't know, about a month. They've been doing really well. This tree looks empty, but a while back, last week, it had probably 150 pounds of apricot on it, and well, the kids probably won't eat apricots until later because they're sick of them. But we gave some to the neighbors, and we made some jam and bottled some, and I don't know, we'll see what we do with the other. I've got about 50 pounds in the house that I haven't processed. We'll get to them though. And let's see. Oh, we'll jump over to the kids' garden over here. This one the kids did by themselves, and it's basically a row of sunflowers. Excuse me again. Let's see, with just some squash planted on the bottom. Not a lot of flowers so far. There's been a few flowers, but no pumpkins showing up yet. So I don't know if it's just that part of the yard or what. We had some beans back there that didn't really do well, a few beans on them, but I'll probably have to find a different spot. Wasn't a good bean spot. And then the kids have we picked one of their cabbages, but this is a broccoli that they had going, and then there's a little cabbage that's starting here too. And then this was where I started gardening a couple years ago. It was our only garden in the whole backyard for a while, and it just won't grow anything I actually plant in there. So on this corner, the sunflowers, you know, they popped up on their own, but this corner has some oregano that I planted maybe 4 years ago, and it stays. And then right here we have some sage, and I thought this was thyme, but I'm pretty sure it's a weed. But it has a nice little purple flower, so I haven't completely gotten rid of it, but I cut it down and it just comes up. So that's why I think it's not thyme, because thyme probably would not like the trimming that I've given them. Compost pile, won't show that too much, but this is our grape patch, and it's 4 different types of seedless grapes. 2 of them are green and 2 are red. You can kind of see how this one's kind of starting to turn red in there, but tons and tons of grapes this year. Last year we had a good, actually every year we've had these. They're about 9 years since the first year we moved here, I planted them, and we've had a good grape haul ever since. And so these trees are pretty, but they don't have any fruit, and so more just shade trees. They're too big. Like, I wish I could pull them out and put something that would actually do fruit. The neighbors have a pear tree back there. I'm gonna see if I can ask them if I can have a branch next spring and maybe use that as our graft over here. But yeah, ignore the garage. But that's our garden this year. I went overboard, I think, because I was sick. And so I just like that. Wherever the black, we had some black plastic put down that I was going to put mulch on. But my husband lost his job and I was sick, so we just didn't have the energy or the money to bring that in. But what's nice is that we've got, not all of it's porcelain, but there is some porcelain that's grown. It likes the black plastic. And so a nice little wild vitamin treat there. But we were very blessed that it grew so well, and it was just a good garden year. All right, bye.